So the internet is full of absolutely random and absolutely contradictory dating advice. I don't know if you've ever seen, but some dating coaches might say something like, oh, you should wait 3 days before you actually text a guy. And some people out there, if you've seen in other videos linked in below, say that there's such thing as a 90-day rule, which is like, oh, you should wait 90 days before sleeping with someone. And these rules that people give you are never truly your own rules. I find that really fascinating because whenever there is this advice on what to do, the advice on what to do never truly works long term. It might work short term because it gives you a quick strategy and it gives you a quick way of understanding a certain dating motion or a certain relationship motion. But what I find tends to happen is when we focus on what to do, it doesn't really work. When we focus on what to think, that works a little bit better. But when we focus on what to feel, that truly can make groundbreaking changes. But the stuff I'm about to give you is based around feelings, because feelings always come first, especially when it comes to relationships. There is nothing more truly that you need to learn because you've been around people your entire life. You've been practicing relationships your entire life. And if you think that there is anything more that you need to learn, that's why more often than not, I call myself a dating guide rather than a coach, because I'm here to guide you to create your own style, create your own motion, create your own feelings, and understand that really there is no structure to dating. There is no structure to relationships. That's only what you want. So in this video, I want to talk about how to make a guy chase you, because with that pre-frame, we can then discuss the actions and the things to do, but in the context of feelings, which makes a whole lot more sense. Because truth be told, if you want to make a guy chase you, there is no tactic, there is no trick, there is no whatever that is going to work long term. What you have to do is be someone who's worth chasing. Really simple. It's not any more complicated than that. Relationships, love, all this kind of stuff should be and is simple. If you're in a place where you're struggling and you're really confused about what to do next, this is the kind of shit that works. Because if you're in a relationship where you're like, oh my God, my partner's lost interest, instead of chasing him, you should be chasing yourself. If you're stuck chasing one guy and you're like, how do I make him like me? How do I make him chase him? Chase me? This is what we should have always been doing. It's not necessarily to do with some tactic of send him a message 3 days after message 1 and then get the results. It is just, well, are you on your own path? So here I want to discuss 3 different things that you can follow, not necessarily do specifically, that will ultimately make a guy chase you. Because it's really funny, when you become someone worth chasing, that's when people chase you. Now, the first thing I want to share here, just very simply, and at the end of this video, I want to give a bit more of an announcement, really something that I'm really excited to share, that I've been working on, and maybe you know a little bit about it. But the first thing I want to share is literally just follow your happiness. Whatever makes you happy. The amount of people that I get, that I talk to, and I'm interacting with, that fucking don't get that is astounding. That it's like, oh, but I just want him to make me happy. Why we used to be happy and now it doesn't. It's like, why is it his responsibility? And it's the same time when I'm working with guys. This is not just how to get a guy to chase you. This is also how to get a girl to chase you, for example. Be someone worth chasing. When you follow your happiness, when you work from that, you then find your path of least resistance. And your path of least resistance might be that like for example, if you want to meet someone, your path of least resistance might be that you don't want to talk to anyone, but you want to just express yourself with your friends, or you might just want to eat ice cream, for example. And if that brings you happiness because you're in control, you're doing whatever brings you that feeling, right? That then leads you to build up that happiness like it's an energy, and that energy then can be used to express and to connect with other human beings. When you're following your happiness in a relationship, right? It might be that for example, you might know someone, or it's a friend of a friend, and you're like, how do I get him to chase me? I really like him. I just want him to like me back. I just don't get it. But when you follow your happiness, what makes you happy, you then become so much more vibrant, so much more expressive, and so much more noticeable. When you're and that's a place of abundance. When you're a place of lack, what happens is you're chasing, you're trying, and the really important thing to notice here is that people pay more attention, or they feel what you have to say more than they hear what you have to say. So when you say something and you're coming from a place of lack and you're like, please make me happy, that's the motion that you're saying, that's what they will feel. And as a result, you're going to take energy away from that relationship and drag it down, and he won't want to chase you, because why would he? Because it makes him feel shit to be around you. But if we flip that, if you're following your happiness and you're increasing your vibe, you're increasing your own sense of feelings within yourself and making yourself just generally feel good, what happens is that your actions then are in a place of abundance. So you're adding towards the relationships. You're always adding. So when you add to it, you then make the other people feel good, because, as we said before, people feel what you have to say more than they hear what you have to say. So when you're having that emotional transference, when you're in that state of happiness, you then make other people feel happy. And if the universal law of relationships is we get into relationships because of how they make us feel, and most people want to feel happy, then why wouldn't he chase you? Now, the second thing is we also want to follow our self-respect. Whatever makes you feel like you're more in self-respect. Now, for most people, what I find, what really works when I'm working with people one-on-one, is getting them in touch with their anger. And that is part of the thing of the end of this video, what I'm going to be talking about. But following your self-respect is all about understanding your boundaries. What boundaries are you comfortable with? What boundaries are you uncomfortable with crossing? And what are standards that you have that you do not break? And sometimes we say we have these standards, but we don't actually use them. It's because we haven't really experienced what it's like. So whatever that means, following your boundaries means setting up rules, because truth be told, you know what they say, like diamonds are forever, right? But diamonds aren't for everyone. And you and I, we're not looking for donuts. We are looking for diamonds. We're looking for that person who is going to bring us that incredible life and love, just vibrance to our life. And you don't get that if you make yourself available to everyone. Because the simple rule here is if you make yourself available to everyone, you make yourself available to no one. And so if you want to make someone chase you, one of the biggest things you can do, and I said it's not really to do, but I hope you're getting this, that it's an energetic thing, it's an emotional thing, it's how you feel, but to understand that you might like a person up to a point, but if he does X and Y, that he's off the menu. And if you understand that there are limitations and stuff, pretty soon you'll start to refine that, and you will start to connect with someone who's more in alignment with who you are, because that's the key here. We want to find out who's in alignment with who we are. What kind of experience do we want? Do we want life of passion? And the third thing is one of the most cliches I will say in a while, but very simply, just follow your heart. It's one of those things that I find we always put so much pressure on ourselves that we have to get the person to like us, or we have to do this, or we have to do that. And you'll find the advice I give you is pretty much universal, because I always believe how we treat one thing is how we treat everything. Sure, the words we might use are different, but truth be told, it's very similar. So it's like, when I say follow your heart, it's whatever you feel like you need to do in that point in time. This is a feeling thing, not a thinking thing. Because what I find is most people try and solve the problem mentally before it's happened. They say, how do I do this? But this won't work, and that will this, and this, and this, and this. And they're coming up with every worst case scenario without actually experiencing the relationship or actually trying something. So when I say follow your heart, you'll find yourself doing, again, the path of least resistance. So for some people, what following their heart might mean, if they're sad and their heart is telling them to be sad, it's to be sad. Because in that point, you'll run out of sadness and you'll be bored. For someone else, it might be that they just want to go out and party. Whatever is that feeling, right? Because it's all about feelings. Feelings do come first. And I'm going to tell you something that is going to be amazing to follow your heart in just a second. But that's it. It's never been that you've had to do anything. It's never been that you had to be something you're not. This is the true definition of what people would say like self-love. There is that other cliche where they say, you just got to love yourself first. You just got to love yourself first. But what the fuck does that mean? For some people that might mean confidence. For some people that might mean expressing their sexuality. For some people that might mean cooking more. Everyone has a completely different sense of self-love. And what I found when I've been working with people, that the real and the most powerful way for basically universally for people to connect with whatever makes them feel that is through feeling and integrating emotions. Now, if you were to work with me in my 6-week program one-on-one, you'd be doing that fucking on fire, and it would be absolutely amazing. But what I've done here is absolutely something amazing, and it's about to be released. In fact, the fact that this video is released is this course is released. It is the 7-day self-love course. This is my course for absolutely everyone. This is my course where we feel our emotions, where we feel our wants, where we get in touch with our desires. It's so funny. What I find is most people, when they have relationship problems, it's because they're in the wrong relationships. And when we get in touch with our desires, that changes so instantly. It's absolutely fucking profound. Day 2, for example, is we get in touch with our power and our anger and things like that. And when we get in touch with that, we set our standards really well. So I have this 7-day self-love course, and if you want it now, it is just $7. It's $1 a day. So go to www.7dayselflovecourse.com. Again, that's www.7dayselflovecourse.com. I will see you there, so that way we can start the course. It's an online course, it's a video series with some meditations, because I'm really excited. We have distilled my 6-week results coaching program into a 7-day course that you guys can do at home. So that is something to look forward to. And in the meantime, make sure to press the like button, because if you did, then I like you, and make sure to subscribe, because if you don't, I won't be able to leave Sydney. I'll be trapped here forever. And remember to live love on your terms.